What is up? Is your boy Johnny Shreve, aka Mr. Tell Like It Is. The results are finally in. Yes, I am not the father. I'm just joking. We're just talking about my blood work. My blood work is back, and in this video, I'm going to share my results with you guys, break down my blood work, and give you guys an update on what it's been like so far taking turkesterone daily. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, starting from the top, guys, this is my lab report. My full name at the top is Jonathan Zachary, is my middle name, Shreve. The blotted out stuff is my address and my health card number and my phone number. My birthday is there. There you guys see it. I am July 12th, 1983, and I am 41 years old. There you have it, guys. The truth is there. I'm telling the truth the entire time. Okay, so my bioavailable test, testosterone that's basically available. If anyone's taking steroids, or say they're taking steroids right now, that number will be jacked right up. If they just came off, it would slightly probably still be up because most things aren't out of your system that quick. If you're taking like a long ester like testosterone and fate, let's just say I stopped this year, this number would plummet. Unless I've taken 8 or something to help recover my test, it would still be very, very low. When I got my test done a long time ago, before actually when I got my blood work done, when we were planning on having a baby, I had to get my same thing done, and my bioavailable test was like in the negatives. My testosterone, everything was like basically done, so except my free test. Sperm count was actually like I had probably like one swimmer left, and that's where my daughter is. Again, it wouldn't recover that quick in that time, or you definitely see skews. So either way, my bioavailable testosterone is 3.52. So it's, the range is 2.5 to 10. It's like at that low range or middle range, how it is for my age. If there was something wrong with that, it would be red. I abused steroids for 8 years. I'm talking like I abused steroids to the cycle levels of I'm trying to win my pro card. I abused steroids to mass cycles like I'm trying to be a successful open class bodybuilder. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, I was 55 pounds bigger than I am right now. I'm around 210, 215 pounds right now. 3 years ago, I was around 255 pounds. A year before that, 265, and then between 265 and 275, that was my walk around weight. You know what I'm saying? I'm 210 right now. After 8 years of abusing steroids and coming off cold turkey 3 years ago and using absolutely nothing, I was basically using Createch from Blue Star, Createch, Status, and my omega-3 pills from Blue Star for the last basically 3 years. So that's basically what my testosterone is right now, my biotest. Going to my sex hormone binding globulin, that number will be completely off as well too. Your SHBG is often like lowered, which can lead to like your free circulating testosterone or other androgens. So if I had androgens in there in my body, it would be lower. My albumin or my urine, that is at a range of 5, basically nothing wrong. Going to my UACR, which is my urine album my creatine, my creatinine, those levels are basically fine. My ferritin level, which is basically which is something to do with my blood, my red blood cells, that was flagged, and my doctor. I'll actually read you the notes from my doctor. So notes from my doctor, basically, when I got that back, and I'm sure I actually gave this blood work to Greg too. So if he does a video on it, he does. If he doesn't, but he just letting you guys know that he has this work. He has this blood work. Anyway, so my doctor basically said, just looked online, looked at your previous CS, which basically my blood work. The MCV, which is the cell size, which consistently has consistently been on the low end of normal, a bit higher in the past, but I assume in 2020 and 2021 you're probably on cycle. And I'm like, yes, I have been on cycle then. That was my last time. So 2021 was my last year on cycle. 2020 was basically the year we were locked in the houses and doing nothing and traveling nowhere. So I was just coming off 2019, a massive cycle. I did the California Pro, the Toronto Pro, and then the vid happened. Then I'm like, yeah, I was on cycle. I'm like, yes, I was on cycle, capital letters. Yeah, I think your normal hemoglobin runs a bit low, but you're higher when you're on cycle. Based on your older blood work, your iron levels always look good. Do you take vitamin B12? I'm like, no, but I used to. When it comes to my creatinine, my urine, everything's fine there. My prostate, my PSA is in the range I want it to be in. That's basically like it would. Those numbers would reflect if you were at risk of cancer, for sure. So your PSA being in a good range is exactly what you want. Prolactin is 11 and 11.1, 3.5 out of 19.4. So you can definitely see, like, so put it this way: if I was claiming to be an actual fake 90, like I've never been on anything in my life, none of these numbers would be off. I mean, they'd be off naturally in terms of like if my diet was off, whatever. But my test would probably, my bio test would be probably a little bit higher. My SHBG might be a little bit higher. There'd be no issues with my red blood cells or whatever. Give you guys an idea. So moving on to my triglycerides. Triglycerides 0.4, basically right in the middle, right? It's out of 1.7. And your my triglycerides, if I was on or something was skewing it, these might be elevated due to changes in your lipid metabolism, and testosterone does affect that. And now, so getting down to my LDL, so your LDL and HDL, so your low density lipoprotein, your quote unquote bad cholesterol, which don't worry about that. Steroid abuse does elevate those, will increase your LDL levels. Your HDL, your HDL, which is basically your high density lipoprotein, good cholesterol. Steroids usually typically lower HDL and cholesterol, further increasing cardiovascular risk. So all those things, LDL, HDL, and triglycerides are all in the range they need to be for me to be healthy again. So my LDL is where it needs to be, which is great. Those are all great markers. Kind of read off what my doctor said as well too. So I wrote to him, like, did my blood results come in? He said, yes, it looks really good. Your cholesterol profile is excellent. No diabetic, testosterone levels are good. Only thing that's a bit off, and I'm not sure it's if it's new or old, is for you is your hemoglobin. It's on the low end of normal, and the size of your blood cell is a little on the low end of normal. Your iron levels seem. So is there any family history of sickle cell or anything like that? And I'm like, no. And then the conversation that we had earlier in this, when we came down to talk about more in terms of about my red blood cells, I went online and looked at your previous bloods. Your MCV, which is the cell size, has consistently been on the low end of normal, a bit high in the past, but assume in 2020 or 2021 you were on cycle, and that's exactly my last cycle was 2021. So my C-reactive protein is good. This marker of inflammation may be elevated, indicating that increase of cardiovascular risk due to steroid-induced strain on the heart. So if my heart's doing too much extra whatever, because of steroid-induced, steroids do increase your blood pressure. So looking at my C-reactive protein, I'm good to go. My phosphorus is all good to go as well too. My chloride levels is great. My lipid levels are good. Get these. And then getting down to my calcium, it's fine. It's awesome. My cholesterol, my HDL cholesterol is 2.0. Anything basically greater than 2, which is greater than 1 is good. And my cholesterol is 4.79, which is basically 0 to 5.20. My cholesterol is good. It's great actually. Probably due to using Omega Blue Star Nutraceuticals. This is what I've been taking consistently for my cholesterol, blood pressure as well too. So use my code, link in the description below. Anyway guys, my magnesium is still good, which is great, 0.7, which the range is 0.66 to 1.07. My uric acid is good as well too. Urea, my EGF is good, all that's good, blah blah blah. Getting down more my non-HDL, that's great. My sodium, potassium, basically that's my electrolyte. So if I was telling people that I'm natural, but I was doing like diuretics just to look good at, say, like, I don't know, Olympia, if I went there to an expo, I was like, I don't look good at the expo, and I took, diuretic, and I'm sitting at a booth selling supplements. That's just not honest, right? That would be affected. Same with like clenbuterol would affect that as well too. My creatinine is another marker for your kidney health as well too, and that is right at the top. Now my creatinine a few years ago was actually at 106, which is flagged, which is nuts. And I did my due diligence, smartened right up, drank more water, came off doing dumb shit because that was when I was abusing it, and it's in the range, which is good. Your ALT and your AST, which most people can sometimes see, your alanine aminotransferase or your aspartate aminotransferase transferase, whatever, these enzymes will be elevated, indicating liver stress and damage, as many anabolic steroids would do. Now, also, if I was an alcoholic, those numbers would be changed as well too. So you can see the correlation. My albumin is good, 41, it's perfect. My alkaline phosphate is where it needs to be. My thyroid, again, if I was abusing thyroid medication to make myself look leaner, and lining guys would be like, hey man, I'm natural, I don't do anything. Meanwhile, I'm taking thyroid medication and look ripped all the time. There you have it. It's right there. It's in a good range. Now here's a good one too, my Estradoil. My Estradoil would be definitely off for sure if I was on anything prior or earlier, or even now, it would definitely be off, because most steroids are binded to an estrogen, but at the same time, steroids would affect my Estradoil for sure. Now going down to my testosterone. Now here's one we all waiting for, right? If my test was off, my Estradoil would be affected for sure. Now my testosterone, when you're looking at it here, we're at 16.93 nanomoles per liter out of 8 and 32. So I'm right in the middle with my blood work. So like, what would really good? I think probably like closer into the 20s, which would be pretty high. Now for me, this is pretty good because I haven't been on anything for 3 years. Testosterone recovered to 16.93. My test was in the negatives back in the day. So if I was on something right now, it would definitely be higher. If I was on TRT, I would assume this would probably be higher, more into the 20s. If I was definitely doing in the States, because I get a lot of blood work from my clients and they have, I've seen this number, pretty high, and they've been, prescribed from their doctor. And I've seen this thing almost like tipping over the max range. So here's where my red blood cells, my iron, if you look at my hemoglobin, that's probably the lowest one marker on this. As you can see, my HCT is right at the bottom. My MCV is 79 out of 80, and my MCH is 26 to 28. So they're not that far off. They're low nonetheless, but they're not that far off to make lifestyle changes. In terms of vitamin supplementation, vitamin B12, iron, getting my protein intake up, and just being more on point with that. This is just more of my blood work, blood cell. Lymph is a tad bit low. Again, nothing that has been flagged in terms of concerns from the doctor, and just like some lifestyle changes from there. And then that's it. And then my last one here is just my HGB A1C is 5.2, which is great. So H1C is basically my glucose levels, right? Might be elevated, reflecting impaired insulin sensitivity. So you think about glucose levels, like glucose is like what our body basically operates on in terms of like energy. So that could be off from steroid use, potentially. Getting this back, for me, it's been one of those kind of like, I've been very curious, because I've always said I feel good, and I feel mentally fine, I feel physically fine, I feel hormonally fine, if that makes sense. I was like, I'd like to see what it looks like, because if I got my blood work back and it reflected how I felt, which I say it is, because like I said, I haven't had my blood work done in like 3 years, and I felt good after coming off of steroids cold turkey. So for me, I feel good, and I'm really happy with this blood work. Those markers I will change, which is good to always see. And again, I'm doing this not just for, just to test out turkesterone, but like it's good to get your blood work so you can see what's going on the inside. So if something's off, you can fix it. When I see the red and I see that, a message from my doctor, and I'm going over my blood work, for me it's like, hey, I know what's going on the inside and out, and I make adjustments and then make things that much better. I'm a 41-year-old male, and you guys are looking at me like, there's no way you're 41. There's no way, blah, blah, blah. I like that. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Black don't crack. All jokes aside, there's a reason why I look the way I do, right? If I was abusing steroids, if I was abusing drugs, abusing things, it would show. Sometimes like, no, it doesn't show that much. I guess it does. It 100% shows. You can hide it for long enough, but like it will 100% show sooner or later. If you guys look at my past pictures from like when I was on steroids until I look like now, it literally looks like I've gotten younger and younger and younger. I went basically like this, my skin got better, my whole look got better, I started feeling like everything started to change for the better since coming off steroids, and it reflected on the inside and the out. Now when it comes to like turkesterone itself and where I'm at with this entire test, I can tell you one thing right now. Right now, it's only been like a week, and right now I'm trying to figure out if the aggression that I'm feeling, because I definitely feel aggression. 100%, I feel aggression. I want to make sure that the aggression wasn't placebo, but I want to see now if moving forward and just paying attention to it a lot more and being managing it is making it's seeing that is there a performance increase with it, right? When I was on steroids, there was a aggression piece that came with it and also a performance that came with it as well too, meaning 100% got stronger. That aggression made you stronger. Now, am I saying that this is like steroids? No, obviously it's not even close. There is a component of this that does change your mood in a sense where, to me, it makes me feel a little more aggressive. I do have that since when using it at the end of every set. I have this a little more like that. Now, does it make me stronger? I'm only gonna find out on a weekly basis in terms of I'm just training the same way I was before. I'm not trying anything different, so I'm not purposely trying to progressive overload. I'm basically doing like maintenance volume training. I'm just doing what I can to just keep myself strong, etc. Right? I'm not doing anything crazy at all. I'm basically almost like in maintenance in the sense where I'm letting my body naturally get strong through progressive overload on a week-to-week basis. So when it comes down to it, I'm trying to see if this aggression that I'm feeling is going to translate to me getting a few more extra reps or adding more weight sooner. That's what I'm looking at now moving forward within this test. So I want to be transparent with you guys. Greg, if you watch this video, you got my blood work, you can break it down as well too. Be curious what you say on that. And that's it, guys. Let's keep moving to see how this thing goes. And until next time, you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.